Hi all, Brad Wright from the Single Malt Whisky Club here, and July sees the finale of our Waratah Wonders series, in which we highlight New South Wales craft distilling and the associated industries. And what a finish we have for you! A double barrel offering of seriously sensational sippers that have been crafted just for us. The first off the rank this month, our malt of the month, is the Waratah Blend. A collaboration between two New South Wales craft distillers and your own Single Malt Whisky Club. Our optional extra, an extremely limited edition, and a first from Craftworks Distillery, dedicated to our not-so-little club. And yes, the irony of the Single Malt Whisky Club collaborating on a blended or vatted malt for our malt of the month is not lost on us, don't worry. So, our malt of the month is our Waratah Blend. This collaboration between Corowa Craftworks Distillery and the Single Malt Whisky Club began back in March at the Epic in the Valley craft producer event held in a campground at Kapiti, New South Wales. So after many hours of dramming around a huge bonfire, complete with a few old rotten casks put on top and burnt on top, a spectacle everyone deserves to take part in at least once, I must say. But anyway, somewhere between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning, Crafty Todd, Crafty's mate and right-hand man, and I had a brilliant idea. A blend of New South Wales distilled single malt whiskies. We had huge plans for many contributors, but in the cold hard light of a hungover morning, we all realised that our planned timetable was way too short for the enormous undertaking we dreamed of. But we soon realised that we didn't have to give up on the plan, we just needed to downsize it a little to allow us to work in the available time frame. That week, a chat with Dean from Corowa, and I let the idea slip, and he was keen as mustard straight away about the concept. And so we decided that with the time constraints, two of New South Wales' finest craft distilleries, Corowa and Craftworks, would be the blend for our first Waratah Blend release. And so, here it is. Two stellar distilleries, 5 casks, and just a little sweat over deadlines later, we proudly present the Waratah Blend, comprising of 5-year-old Tawny matured, 5-year-old Bourbon matured, a 3.5-year-old Jacobs Creek double barrel cask, an Andrew Young super cask, and finally an ex-Scotch whisky cask from an unnamed distillery. All blended to perfection by Dean of Corowa Distillery. So, okay, let's have a look at this little lovely. There's the label. There's the whiskey. Okay, the colour is a honey brown. Can you see it? It's a honey brown colour. Oh, on the nose, there's a striking nuttiness and rather pleasantly unexpected at that, right off the bat, but closely followed by a musty, earthy note. Then we get sweet candied fruit, or is that marmalade? And a mixed peel with a vanilla twist thrown in for good measure. On the palate, oh, yum. That nuttiness flows right through to the palate and introduces rich stewed fruit, more of that vanilla, and some biscuit spices, all wrapped up in a lovely sort of creme brulee with caramelised sugar on the top. It's lovely. And the finish, it starts quite sweet. Oh. So that it starts sweet, but it sort of dries out as it goes on. Sweet marmalade quality of the palate sort of morphs into kind of one of those bitter marmalades, almost dry. The vanilla resurfaces periodically as you chew on it. So yeah, that vanilla resurfaces. There's also a trace of espresso coffee there as well. Yum. It's just a fantastic sipper, and it's a completely sippable price too. Have a look at the website. The Waratah Blend, our malt of the month. Now, onto our optional extra from Crafty at Craftworks Distillery at Kapiti. Now, Crafty's pretty well known in Australian whisky circles, and his releases to date have been fairly limited and fiercely collected. Crafty's quite the character, and was awarded the bronze medal as Whisky Personality of the Year at the Australian Whisky Awards last year, I believe. Craftworks Distillery is really a tiny affair producing fantastic handcrafted whisky, and we are absolutely blown away that Crafty has decided to honour our club by including our initials in the name. Some may welcome change. As I said, this is a first for Craftworks Distillery, as they've never released a sherry matured whisky before. And what a way to start. Made from New South Wales Voyager craft malt, matured in first fill Spanish Oloroso cask, and presented at a cask strength of 64.6 ABV. Folks, this is an extremely limited edition sherry bomb, and not only is it highly collectible, as all Crafty's previous whiskies have been, it's an absolute bloody stunner to boot. So let's rip the lid off this little lovely. There it is. And straight away, we can see that rich brown colour that gives away the Oloroso maturation. How does it taste then? Oh wow, the nose from me is straight up chocolate at first, but then there's some sort of difficult to pinpoint notes. I can't quite get, but there's some aniseed there, there's some paprika I'm sure, and just a touch of nail polish remover hiding in there as well. Just a little, just a smidge. Oh, on the palate, first it's rather dry, but it creeps around the inside of your cheeks with surprisingly little alcohol burn, and then the fruit explodes. Oh, plums, sultanas, and mixed peel, all individually, and then all stewed together with a real marzipan thing going on at the same time, I guess. The finish, it's a dirty job. The finish is long and complex. So many flavours rolling around in there. There's stewed fruit persists. It's overthrown by coffee. Aniseed makes a comeback just as the curtains start to draw close. Whew. Oh yeah, this is some seriously good whiskey. So that's our July double bonus round, signifying the end of the Waratah Wonders series. What a fantastic few months it's been. We sampled New South Wales craft distilling from nearly all over the state, and stay tuned. We got some surprises over the coming months from some of the distillers who were unable to get a product to us for this time around. There could even be one from Byron Bay, I believe, so stay tuned. So, the Waratah Blend, 2 New South Wales distilleries, 5 casks, expertly blended by Dean from Kurrawa Distillery. Lovely nutty whiskey with a vanilla backbone and presented at 46% ABV. And also the extremely limited edition Some Way Welcome Change from Craftworks Distillery. Full of chocolate, coffee, and those sherry influences that we all love. I know I say this every month, but I love them both and I'm getting all of them. And I've got a feeling you're going to kick yourself if you don't as well. 2 easy dramming New South Wales whiskies exclusive to the Single Malt Whisky Club. Until next month, I'm Brad Wright. Slez Javar.